We're here with Dr. Gottlieb. Did I say that right, Doctor?
You got it. You got it.
You should know after 22 years we've known each other, correct?
It's been a lot of water under the bridge.
So Dr. Gottlieb is periodontist in Seattle area in
Tri-Cities area.
Tri-Cities, but also in
Oh, Seattle and Kenmore, and then
yes.
Tri-Cities, two
Yes.
practices in distinct areas in the state of
Right.
Washington.
So I thought we'd just take like about 5 minutes, 7 minutes, just talk to you about where you're at, a little bit your story, where you're at now, and I mean just a little bit that, you know, I've known Bob for, like I said, 22 years, and we met when I was at the business school in Arizona, and I did an analysis for you, Bob, as you remember, a long time ago. Actually, you were my first periodontist I'd ever did analysis for, and I was scared out of my wits.
I didn't know that.
Yes, I was. I didn't know what the heck I was doing, actually. I'm just going to be honest. I'm still working on that. But I remember looking at your numbers, and you just said, hey, I need to do something with my numbers back then in your practice back when you were in what area?
Linwood.
Linwood, yes. And so years gone on, and then Bob transitioned now with another practice. And I took over the practices, and then he asked us about a year ago, Deb and I, we started talking about it, and you graciously invited us to work with you again, and Deb, and oh, because of Deb, but but so I just like to, you know, I know you know, the specialists have a different model, but I think a lot of the things that apply to management organization systems still apply, and you went through a process. You've been through a lot of things with different consultants and the business school in Arizona and other business development. So, you know, you're not an amateur to all this, but you brought us in, and I guess, I don't know, just get your perspective on the year and what your thoughts are, and just for anybody that's maybe in dentistry, what, I guess, like I said before, what's the future, like what you see now for you, and what's the hope that you see for others? And, yeah.
Thanks. Well, I was lucky we had that relationship when you came out the first time because we were both Chicago boys. And so back then I knew that I wasn't very good at managing the practice from a financial point of view. I had a clinical point of view, and I was pretty good from a relationship point of view, and I really wasn't, I kept producing myself out of trouble. And we went down to Arizona and we got some guidance. There was a structure to the program that was good but constricted. And so we took some of it back with us and used it for a while, and it worked reasonably well. And then we got away from it. And then there were some life cycle changes, yeah, where the economics changed again. And then I was in the back seat. I became a partner with Dr. Cohen, and I was in the back seat. I really was just watching the practice. He knew I was good at treatment and good at relationships, and that's really what I did. And he was the manager and the financial manager. And when I purchased the practice about a year and a half ago, I decided that I wasn't, at this point in my career, going to be haphazard about it, that I needed to get some financial stability. We'd get reports and I had no idea what to do with them. I was always being reactive, and in a short period of time, the financial system, I was never very secure in the economics of the practice. The new model's great with Deb coming to the office because there's no transference of the process. It's done in your office. So it gets accomplished as opposed to going someplace and hoping that it comes back and gets done. And so we got some structure around how we would handle our money and how we'd handle our purchases and how we'd handle the overhead. And it's been great. It's been great. It went from unmanaged and reactive to managed and proactive. And so now we have goals and budgets and money. So, you know, the percentage of changes is ridiculous. I mean, it was fabulous, and we're hoping to continue on that path. And I think what it will do will set up a strong financial legacy for the practice, that it will go forward with strength as opposed to not, as opposed to questions about whether or not it's financially solvent. I think it'll help in me trying to secure my retirement at the end of the career. I think it'll help me make better decisions for the practice from a business point of view, and I think it'll be great for selling the practice to keep it going forward.
I think that's one of the things I know about you too, Bob, that you do care about who's going to not only be there in charge of your maintaining your legacy, but also that you set them up so that they can be successful. That I think that was one of the things you talked to me about, is not only do I need to take care of myself and my family and my future, but I also want to make sure that this potential partner buying into this feels that they can go ahead and accept the responsibilities that are going to be there because the business model is sustainable.
Yeah, that's really, I want the model to be, it's not a practice anymore, it's a company. We have 30 employees or something like that, and a couple doctors, and there'll be a couple doctors to replace me. So there's, besides all the people we take care of and the general dentists we try to elevate, there's 30 families, and some of them are single moms, and some of them are the primary breadwinners in their family. And it's important that when I walk away, that they still have a good job, and that the person that takes over the practice can use the same model and be as successful, if not more so.
So I was thinking, I know you talked about the money and everything, which is important, and I think that, and I probably shared this before, people say that money doesn't matter, lie about other things as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Zig Ziglar said. Yeah. So money's important, but I think, some of the things that you wrote to me, but besides the money and getting control of that, some of the systems, I was thinking about, like, I don't want to reveal your age, but guys you're 65, correct? Yep. So you're not a spring chicken, but you look pretty good.
I might not even be a fall chicken anymore. I could be heading into winter chickenhood.
So I guess maybe some of you are thinking, like, well, so at 64 you started to bring another management or consult, whatever we want to call us, into your business again, and I'm sure some of the doctors thought, well, why? You've done a lot of things. Why would you need to do that? And I guess from your perspective, what was the thinking on that for you? Not just financial. I know that was important.
The financial part. So I knew that you'd help me financially, but I think it's always important to have coaches in your life to keep moving you forward, because otherwise you're going backwards. And I've known you and Deb for years, and your coaching and guidance, is solid. It's integrity-based. It's looking out for yourself and looking out for others and treating people the right way and making right decisions. So it was I needed somebody to help me with the money, but I also don't care about money like that. Money's like isn't my biggest core value. It's probably in the top 20. And so for me, it's important that we did this in the right way, that the money was based around, management of the money was based around doing things the right way and not about managing money. Is that what you were?
Yeah, and I think, I guess for you personally, go ahead.
And then Mark, you've always been, you've always tried to move people forward. It's not, it's never been about the money for you. It's been about getting freedom to get better so you're not encumbered by the money. And, that's important to me. I always try to move forward out of my vision and not out of my circumstances. But when they're calling you for the money, it's not fun. So if you can get that put in the rear view mirror, and then you can continue, it's easier to stay in your vision and you're being the person you want to be.
Right.
Yeah, and I guess I appreciate you saying that. I struggle with moving forward, but I think being around people like you and Deb and people that want to keep moving forward, I think it's a critical piece in everyone's lives. And I guess when you're alone and you're not bringing other people to help facilitate that, even with your study clubs, and you have other people that want to grow, it keeps you in the game.
Yeah, and that's been another big piece of this, is that if you're working with good people and you're getting good results, I have a community around me that looks to me for guidance. We can question their judgment on that, but they look to me for guidance. So you've been a fabulous help because a lot of the younger people today are making poor judgments because they think they have to focus on money as opposed to good judgments. And so, you've worked with a lot of my community here in Seattle and my community in Tri-Cities, and they've all had great results, and I see them making better choices. So you've been we've given people the opportunity to help them and make the right choices, and that's been great.
So I'm just thinking of one last question, unless Deb has one, but I was just thinking about, because when we obviously got the opportunity to work with you, your wife, Jerry, I mean, she's great. She could consult, obviously, and she is, and she's a good person to have in the, and you have good people, you have really good people in your practice. I guess, what do you think as far as working with Deb, as far as what's been the difference between, and I guess I'm putting this on the spot for, what's the difference that we brought to your team? Because I usually tell the doctors that men need mentors and guides, but women need them too. They need guides and mentors for their potential. And I guess what would you say for Deb working with your teams has been different, or what would you say about that from
Well,
her work?
I mean, Deb's the perfect complement, right? She's great at relationship and she's great at her job. And she's a good role model for most of your staff are women, so she's a good role model. So she creates relationships with people that make them want to work with her and feel comfortable asking her questions and feel comfortable being stupid in front of her and feel comfortable, and Deb's there supporting him and pushing him forward. So, they're all moving themselves forward. And, we've talked about this before, that none of this consulting stuff just stays in the business or is isolated. When you get yourself better and more responsible and more accountable and see what growth can do in the practice, it matters with your kids and your family and your husbands. And so, Deb's been great at that and helped a lot.
Thank you. That's kind of you.
Does it help that Deb brings chocolate to your staff?
Well, I think she knows how to be with women probably better than I do. So that's.
Well, you could learn a lot of chocolate. Chocolate is good.
Well, Jerry loves chocolate. What else?
So is there anything that you wanted to say?
No, I have appreciated the journey. I know it is just starting, and I think we'll be together for, what was it, just 20 years? Is that all you guys have? Okay.
Yeah, 20 years left.
Let's see if we can top
Well,
that.
I'm hoping that we stay connected this time. We had, some disconnects there. I'm hoping that you can be part of my life and I can be part of your life, and until I hide out in the desert, then I might not get away from her
Yeah,
anyway.
but I know, because I know where you are.
Just, 20 years.
We're going to get more gray hairs together. But
Yeah.
is there anything else you want to say?
This has been a fabulous decision in my life, and fabulous. I never thought I could ever have control over this domain. I was 64 and I've never had control over this domain, so it's great. And it's led me to manage and take on other areas that I'm weak in, that I shied away from. So had a lot of action in that area the last couple of weeks, and it's felt great. So I want to thank you both very much.
Thank you.
Letting us be a part of it.